Cole Peters. I worked so hard for what I didn't get. This is what American Olympic swimmer Shirley Babashoff said while reflecting on her Olympic career. Shirley was unfairly denied 4 gold medals by East German Olympic swimmers who were found to be using banned substances in the 1976 Montreal Games. In addition to her sharing her feelings on this devastating circumstance, she also stated in an interview conducted by Karen Krause, a New York Times sports writer for 14 years in the newspaper The New York Times, published in 2016, that steroid use in the Olympics is still going on and it is not going away anytime soon. We've all taken the class Global Issues with Mr. Ash and learned about the Russian state-sponsored doping scandal. This scandal created an unfair environment for Olympic athletes and made it hard for us as viewers of the Olympics to know if the winning athletes were truly the ones worthy of a gold medal. While we all enjoy watching the Olympics, we would enjoy it a lot more if we knew that all athletes were competing on a fair level. The International Olympic Committee should have stricter punishments for athletes found to be using banned substances. First, I will talk about the problems for the Olympic Games that arise when Olympic athletes use banned substances, and second, I will talk about how the International Olympic Committee can solve these problems. First, let's talk about the problems that Olympic athletes using banned substances cause for the Olympic Games. Athletes who use performance-enhancing drugs cause many problems. Athletes gain an unfair advantage when they use performance-enhancing drugs. Athletes who do not use these drugs are not as physically capable of competing in the Olympics as those who do. According to James Hopker, the director of sports science postgraduate research at the University of Kent, in the journal Frontiers in Physiology, published in 2018, states that when new anti-doping tests are implemented in the Olympics, overall world best performances decrease. This means that when new performance-enhancing drugs are kept out of the Olympics, the athletes do worse because they are not taking these performance-enhancing drugs. State-sponsored doping programs allow countries to have an unfair advantage in the quest for gold medals. Presented by David Gauthier-Villers, the bureau chief of the Wall Street Journal and a reporter for 19 years in the journal The Wall Street Journal, published in 2018, states that Russia was formally banned from the 2018 Pyeongchang Olympic Games in December of 2017 after an investigation concluded that it deployed a state-sponsored doping scheme in the 2014 Sochi Olympics that it hosted. Clean Russian athletes were still allowed to compete in the 2018 Games under the neutral title Olympic Athletes of Russia, or OAR. Athletes feel pressured in state-sponsored doping programs to use steroids in order to make their countries proud. 2 Russian athletes were found to have used banned substances in the 2018 Games alone. Even if this steroid use was not directly related to the state-sponsored doping scheme that Russia employs, the attitudes in Russia for doing whatever it takes to win medals still exist. Health problems can also arise from athletes who use banned substances. According to Daria Piacentino, a research fellow and doctor of medicine at the National Institute of Health, in the book Current Neuropharmacology, published in 2015, states that athletes who use banned substances can display psychiatric disorders. Anabolic androgenic steroids, which are steroids that athletes commonly use in the Olympics, can lead to mood destabilization, depression, and even psychotic behavior. Presented by Antonello D'Andrea, a professor in the Department of Cardiothoracic and Respiratory Sciences at the University of Campania, in the journal The International Journal of Cardiology, published in 2016, stated that anabolic androgenic steroids can also cause physical disorders. Athletes who abuse these steroids can exhibit left ventricular hypertrophy. Left ventricular hypertrophy is the enlargement or thickening of the heart's walls in the main pumping chamber. According to Thomas Allison, a medical doctor and an associate professor of medicine at the Mayo Clinic School of Medicine, on the Mayo Clinic official website, updated in 2019, states that athletes who have left ventricular hypertrophy are at a greater risk of having a heart attack or stroke at a young age. Now that we know the problems that Olympic athletes using banned substances cause for the Olympics, let's describe how these problems can be solved. The International Olympic Committee should deploy a lifetime ban for athletes found to be using banned substances. This lifetime ban would be a big deterrent for athletes considering using banned substances. Athletes will now have negative attitudes towards steroid use because of this ban. were found by Cornelia Blank, an assistant professor at the Institute for Sports Medicine in Tyrol, Austria, in the journal Springer Plus, published in 2016, states that athletes' attitudes towards steroid use is a predicting factor for doping behavior. Athletes' trust in the effectiveness of this ban is also a key for deterrence. If athletes think that they will be caught if they use banned substances, then they will not use them, and they will trust that other athletes will not use them as well. State-sponsored doping programs would also be effectively shut down because of this lifetime ban. Athletes will no longer want to commit to a state-sponsored doping program if they know that it could put their Olympic career in jeopardy. We have now learned first what problems arise from Olympic athletes using banned substances in the Olympic Games, and second, how the International Olympic Committee could impose a lifetime ban in order to solve these problems. The International Olympic Committee should have stricter punishments for athletes found to be using banned substances. If this lifetime ban is put in place, the Olympics will become clean, and athletes like Shirley Babashoff will not have their life unfairly altered for the worse.